Hi everyone, it's been a little while since I've done an update, and this one's just basically on how the scenery in the mountains are going again. I just wanted to show everyone this before I start covering it up. Took the advice of Dave and tried to track down some polystyrene, which I did. I cornered a fridge delivery man and took this off one corner of the fridge, and it kind of fits along the length of this part of the tunnel perfectly. So what I'm doing is I'm just using it basically as a solid frame over the tunnel, and then I'm putting the chicken wire, the bird netting wire, over the top of it. I'll just take you around to the other side just to see what it looks like over here. So you can see that that's sort of covering the span of the tunnels there, and then what I've done is I've put the netting the rest of the way over. So just wanted to show you that quickly because I'm about to start plastering, and I'll show you what it looks like once I've done that bit. Okay, well, I'm halfway through the plastering. I've added some more wire over to that side, which you can't quite see in the video, I don't think, or just. And so I'm going to continue on with that. But yeah, halfway through with this part of it. I'll take you around the other side. And here we are, around the other side. So those tunnel portals are in there okay. The only thing I've got on them is a little bit of plaster, and I'll wait for those to dry a little bit as well, because of course the water and cardboard don't mix too well, but they'll be okay. Yeah, so coming along okay so far, and I'll just you can see here where I've put the rest of the wire along here, and I'll continue on with that and see how it all looks. And I have checked the carriage along here, and it doesn't knock onto anything, which is good. Alright, so getting some coverage now on the bulk of the backside, I guess, of the mountains, covering that. I'll take you across here at the moment. I've just placed these two tunnel portholes here, which are pretty, well, crappy sort of tunnel portholes, I guess, but I had them off the old layout, and I didn't really know what to do with them. When I used them in the old layout, I got plaster all over them, so I'd sort of discarded them, and I you know, they're pretty sort of thin and that sort of thing. But I thought, well, I'll give them a shot. I'll try to use them again and resurrect something out of them. So what I'm planning on doing is when I build the netting around and the mountains around, I'm going to then afterwards actually paint the front of the tunnel portals grey and just try and weather them a little bit to cover the plaster. And I never really liked the colour of the portals anyway, the sort of brown sort of colour, stone colour they had there. So I'll do that and see how that looks, and hopefully it'll come up okay. This is another handy little thing I picked up from the fridge man. Just a couple of rectangular pieces of polystyrene. It turns out I probably only need that much that I've cut out, but I just thought, when I looked at it, I thought, well, that could potentially make some sort of a wall behind a tunnel portal, or I don't know, even some sort of retaining wall or something like that, which I haven't used it for as yet, but I'll keep them anyway just in case. What I've done over here is I have glued the tunnel portals in a different position to where I had them before, and I have got the little bits of polystyrene. I haven't glued them down yet, but I will paint them grey, and of course, you know, from the angle of the side, it'll look like, hopefully, like a tunnel wall. So the tunnel portals have come up okay, I think. They're it's interesting, the polystyrene does actually look pretty well like a stone wall, I guess. What I've also done is I've just used I've got a couple of flock or scatter sprinklers here. I've got sort of like a medium green and a burnt green as well, which I've just sprinkled, sorry about the light, I've just sprinkled a little bit on the inside wall in there, and on the ground just where the sun would get to a little bit, just in there. And it is hard to see. I am still working on the lights in here. Apologies for that. But yeah, you can just make out that I've sort of sprinkled some of the green in there. So yeah, I wasn't being too careful with it, because the reality is that if we look across the table, someone's going to be looking at it from up around here. So, you know, unless they're standing where I'm standing now, and even then it should come up okay. So I'll continue making the wire of the mountain. As you can see, I've just given the retaining wall there just a very quick coat of grey paint. It doesn't matter about that corner bit there, because it's going to be covered by by the bricks anyway. But I thought just in case I have sort of gaps between the Metcalfe brick walls, which hopefully I won't, but it'll just have something behind it rather than the yellow board. So that, I think, is looking not too bad. There, it sort of takes away from the sharpness of that corner of the old, not the old layout, well, the existing layout, we'll call it. Takes away from the sharpness of that, which I sort of wanted it to do. And then and also rounds off that corner there, because I didn't want that to be perfectly straight as well, so it just rounds that off there. I want it to look like the whole thing sort of cut out of this this huge sort of mountain range. And then over there in the corner, I have completed the mountains there, which you can see more clearly from this angle. So I've done it where I had the fascia board here. I've done the mountain up to line in with that, just a little bit around this corner there. Wasn't too concerned about that. I've done it up against the wall here, where it's not actually up against the wall, so I can slide the Pico backdrops in behind the mountain there. I've done the same over here. I can slide the backdrop in there if I need to. And up here is where I'll have my country manor, I suppose. Nicely encased in the mountain ranges there. So if we look inside the tunnel portals, you can just see the grey wall, the polystyrene they put in. It looks very dark, very black, which is what I wanted. You can't sort of see through. There's no real light. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way that's turned out. And I do have some spots to get locos. If there's derailment, I have one here, which I can reach pretty well under there, or I can come in from that side there, so I can get under there. I have one around the other side, around the front fascia, which I showed last time. The only place I will need to make one is about here. I'm going to cut out a section like that, just really enough to put my hand under, get under to about there, because the rest of the way I can get to from under there. So that should be fine, I'm hoping. I'm not sure yet, but I might put a bit of a hole in there as well. I mean, these will all obviously be covered by buildings, or this particular one here, I've got that piece that I cut out there with a jigsaw, and I'm just going to make it so that I can just fit it back in, and I'll have some sort of scene on the top of it. So yeah, important to make sure that I can get trains if need be. The track's all fine. I tried to run trains, but because I've been working on the tracks, or working on the mountains rather, the tracks are very dirty. I haven't sort of paid much attention to those in the last four or so weeks. So the trains don't run very well at the moment on them, so I'll clean them up and get them going and see how it all looks. And hopefully in the next video I will have some retaining walls to show you with some detail on those as well. So thanks for watching once again, and look forward to catching up with you all.